All right. Good evening and welcome to Radio Cayman Sports Extra. I'm your host, Dionne Anglin. Tonight on Sports Extra, we will be chatting with FIBA certified referee, FIBA certified referee and chairman of the officials committee for Cayman basketball, Mr. Gregory Hamilton. Good evening.
Good evening.
Awesome. And senior SEBA referee, Kadeen Hall. How are you?
I'm good. Good evening.
Awesome. Good evening to you. Mr. Hamilton officiated at the recent FIBA Central Basket U15 Women's 5-on-5 basketball tournament in Panama. And Mr. Hall attended the recent 3x3 U23 basketball tournament in Mexico. So he attended as an observer to bring back his knowledge to Cayman so, he can share his experience with the athletes here and the officials here about what 3x3 is all about on the officiating side, all right? So we're going to hear about that when we get back. In the second segment, we'll hear from Cayman Powerlifting President Tony McInerney and powerlifters Daniel and Brendan Foley. In this year's North American Powerlifting Championship, the Cayman Islands secured a total of 11 medals. Among these, 7 were earned in the sub-junior category, while 4 were achieved in the Masters 2 division. Notably, a North America powerlifting record was set in the Masters 2 deadlift event. So we're going to hear all about that in the second segment of Sports Extra. In the meantime, we're going to hear a word from our sponsor, Savannah Pharmacy Countryside. Stay tuned.
Hey, Mom and Dad. School is nearly back in session. Is your child ready for the school year? Stop by Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village and pick up all your child's stationery supplies. You won't need to break the bank to get your little one prepared for the school year. You have enough to worry about. Make back to school a breeze with Savannah Pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, or call 946-3336. Savannah Pharmacy supports your education in our small community. That's why the first 20 customers will receive a free fully stocked school bag. Savannah Pharmacy. We love our community.
According to statistics in the 2022 Cayman Islands Student Drug Use Survey, 23.1% of students reported being bullied in the last 12 months. The Anti-Bullying Schools Regulations 2022, brought forward by the Ministry of Education, aim to prevent bullying in our schools and help schools create a welcoming and safe learning environment for our children. Please encourage your children to report bullying to an educator. Learn more at gov.ky/education.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's Experienced Women's Health and Maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
All right, welcome back to Radio Cayman Sports Extra. Mr. Gregory Hamilton and Mr. Kadeen Hall. How are you all doing?
I'm good.
You good?
Yep.
Is this my first time having? No, I've had you here before years ago, and this is my first time having Kadeen here. Yeah, you've been in other like Youth Flex, right? You've represented at Youth Flex, but I don't think I've had you here for Sports Extra. So it's great to have you guys on board. Very interesting summer so far for all two of you, and you in the officiating aspect of Cayman basketball. So let's start with you, Greg. I think, Mr. Head Referee, I just want to, I want you to share your thoughts on this tournament that you went to, the Central Basket 5-on-5, and we have to specify now because there's 3x3 and then there's 5-on-5. So the Central Basket tournament, it was a girls under 15 tournament held in Panama. Okay, so tell us a little bit about that journey and that experience. What was that like for you?
It was a great experience.
You can pull your mic. Yeah.
It was a great experience. Officiating internationally, always a little bit different. you have to stick to the FIBA protocols more. You have to make a little adjustment in terms of how you call the games. As you guys may see in the recent Olympics, the FIBA competitions, they're a little bit more physical. You're allowed to play a little bit more. And referees at that level are taught to make plays finish before they blow the whistle. So it's a little adjustment, but always a great experience.
It's an adjustment for the players as well, especially
Yes.
those who don't know the rules, right? Well, and I'm not speaking just here locally, but for international, like the Olympics. I'm sure for the Olympics, those teams were a bit confused as well as to when did this happen, unless they gave them a packet of what the rules were before the tournament. Either way, getting it before and experiencing it is very different because that's not what you're used to. And especially if it's more physical, right?
Yes.
So what were some of the experiences you had while officiating?
FIBA has made some adjustments to their competitions. And like this time around, we have what we call a pre-competition camp. So referees will get together with an instructor for the tournament, and we will discuss obviously the tournament. We'll do scouting of teams, to see what are their tendencies, what they like to do, their style of play, and also we'll discuss what is expected from the referees during the game. So having the pre-competition camp, it's a new thing. It's a great experience. And that helps you a lot when you get between the lines that's on the court and calling the games. Yes.
Awesome. So for those who are just tuning in or just hearing about you gentlemen, could you share with us what inspired you both to pursue your career in basketball officiating?
Okay, for me, I've been around basketball maybe from
you 15 or younger,
around 14, 15 years old. I played. I enjoy playing. I still enjoy playing. I don't do it as much. I'm always eager to learn, asking the ref questions, even though I didn't agree with them. But that was because of the
lack of knowledge. Right.
I didn't know a lot of stuff, so even Greg can attest to
it.
Yeah, I'm always complaining or whatever. But he is one of the main person that, he saw where I was interested in refereeing, and he definitely pushed me and, gave me good guidance, and my interest was there, so it was easy for him to get me involved in refereeing.
Awesome. And Greg?
Yeah. To put it simply, the love for the game.
Yeah.
And as a player years ago, and
please stress that. Yeah.
and this is my way of kind of giving back to basketball, giving back to the sport.
Definitely.
Being on the officiating side of stuff, and as I said, this is my way of giving back.
How long have you been officiating officially? How many years?
14 years. Yes.
Really?
Yes,
That
14
little?
years.
I thought it was more.
13.
I think it was more.
And 13 years as a FIBA international referee.
How did you become FIBA certified?
Okay.
And what qualifies you for that?
Good question. So you have to take a written exam.
Okay.
And there's also a fitness exam that you have to do as well.
Okay. So the fact that you're still officiating says that you're fit.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, so you can play if you want then.
Yes, of course.
So so you not playing has nothing to do with fitness.
No.
And you?
I just love refereeing now.
You just prefer refereeing. Yeah. I think we prefer to have you refereeing as well because you're one of the better referees in the country. Yeah. So that's it's good to have you on board. And what about you, Mr. Cadane, as an observer at the recent 3x3 U23 tournament? Were there any specific aspects of 3x3 officiating you focused on learning specifically?
Well, first of all, it was definitely a good experience for me. Going to Mexico and experiencing 3-3 at that level, which I think was a very high level. the main thing I think it stood out for everyone was the level of physicality that was allowed in 3-on-3. So that stuck out. That definitely, like, it was there. It's in your face. You couldn't missed it. So I even went further and I had conversations with some of the referees there.
Which he would do. Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
To find out, how they were reffing, how they were making calls. Obviously it's different from 5-on-5. And it's different from how we even usually ref 3-on-3 in Cayman. So it was definitely, new to me. And I was intrigued to find out, how they go about making their calls.
Awesome. What challenges you'd say you faced or you observed during the games, and how do you plan to address them in future tournaments here in Cayman?
I think, again, going to go back to the physicality. I think our guys and girls here, it's kind of hard for them too, because they're not exposed to that level of physicality. So it's hard to get more physical when you're not exposed to it. Yeah. So we as referee as well, we have to educate them, and we have to change how we make calls in the game to allow, that increased level of physicality.
And Mr. Hamilton, with your FIBA certified, as a FIBA certified official, can you referee 3x3 games as well, or that's a totally different certification?
Yes, it's a different certification, but you can be qualified to do 3-on-3 as well.
Do you know what are the qualifications for that one? Either of you?
Yeah, we're actually currently working on that to get persons here certified to become FIBA, both referees and also 3-on-3 table officials, because it's completely different again. So it's not only the refereeing, but it's also table officials.
Okay, cool. And what about some insights? Any insights on unique rules and dynamics, of the dynamics of 3x3? You mentioned that there were a lot of changes. What are some of them, other than the physicality?
Yeah, so it's definitely fast pace. Yeah. It's 10 minutes, 10 minutes on the clock. You only get one timeout within that 10 minutes. It's 12-second shot clock. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that you are very keen on how you manage your time in those 12 seconds.
Yeah.
So you have to, I think 3-on-3 is also a mental game.
Yes.
And if you can outsmart your opponent mentally, then even though you might not have the size, you might not have the, different abilities as your opponent, but if you can outsmart them mentally, you can go far as well.
I agree. How do you think our athletes did with the physical aspect of the game in Mexico?
Obviously, it took some adjustment, especially for our boys. Initially, that it was a shocker for them. You could see, but as the days went by, they were able to adjust, and they tried their best.
Yeah.
They tried their best, and that's all that we wanted from them, is to just see that they're giving 100%.
Okay, and I'm going to call you guys by your first name on first name basis now.
Okay, Dionne.
Yeah, see, that's good. All right, so Greg, as we know, Greg, for those of you listening, as an official at the Central Basket Tournament, were there any specific strategies you used to maintain control and fairness during intense moments of the game?
Sure, yes.
Yeah.
At that level, working on game management and also game control. Yeah. There's a difference. Game management is your environment, the coaching staff, the table, what's going on with your shot clock, your game clock.
Okay.
So you have to be keen on that. So you're a proper game management. And game control is what happens between the lines. So what you will allow, what you will not allow.
Right.
Okay. And we try to be consistent in terms of if we have a no call on one end of the floor and we have a similar situation, we should have a no call as well, and this helps you in the game as it progresses. And at that level, which was under 15, these are kids.
Yes.
So you have to be teaching as well. So one of the other thing was to use your voice. Where situations you will say don't push, don't hold.
Okay.
And we
so
classify
warning them.
Yes,
before.
we classify that as preventative officiating.
Okay.
And that helped a lot. But the main things you wanna focus on is your game management, your game control, and using your voice, and that helps a lot. There are other things that go into the game,
Yeah.
like when to blow the whistle. You don't want to have a
Judgment
quick
calls.
you don't want
Yeah.
to you don't have a quick whistle. A lot of times in basketball, spectators, they want to hear a whistle right away, but in FIBA,
Develop.
it's different. We have what we call
A delayed whistle?
No,
it's called a patient whistle.
you let the play develop.
Yeah.
It's a patient whistle.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Why?
sometimes
What's the purpose of letting the play develop? Is that to see where it goes so that you make your decision on the call? Because I would think if you make it right away, you're making it on the call that you saw.
yes,
initially.
but we make it develop because we're looking for pretty much three things.
Right.
The discontact disrupt the offensive or defensive player rhythm, balance, and speed.
Okay.
Preventing you from going faster, getting to the basket. So you want to be patient, and then you make a decision, because sometimes there's a bump and
Yeah.
the player continues and go to the basket, and what do we want to see? Basket
score.
score.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah, the and
yes,
one. Mhm.
exactly. So so those are the things. So we focus on those whistles as well. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned game control, and that's within the lines you said.
Yes.
So does that have anything to do with fan control, like the fans?
Um,
How involved does a referee get with
Well,
fans?
well, fans,
Out of order fans.
Fans will be fans.
Yeah.
Fans will be fans. They may not agree with
Yeah.
every decision you make, but you have to move on from there,
Right.
because your call, your judgment is what you see.
What about
not
an
what you
unruly
think you see.
spectator? How far does what decisions can a referee make in terms of someone that's disturbing the game?
Yes. Well, if
Verbally.
if we get to that point,
Yes.
we can direct this to our game commissioner or
Yeah.
technical delegate, and this will be relayed to the LOC, and they will be responsible for that.
Okay, I like that.
Alright,
Sounds good. I'm glad you spoke about that. Can you share like any memorable interactions with the players and the coaches there at Central Basket?
Oh, sure.
Oh, you can as an official, off the court or on the court.
Yes, on the court during games,
Yeah.
during intervals, interruption of the game, meaning like substitution, timeout. Coaches, they were like, very friendly. They asked questions, One memorable moment. Yes. Calling an offensive foul.
What happened now?
Yes.
What happened?
And everybody agreed. Yeah, that was good. That was
Okay,
good.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
Yes,
It was something good.
good. It was the home team, Panama, playing Dominican Republic. Yeah, first game of the tournament. Yeah,
Okay.
good.
Awesome. And Kadane, did you receive any sort of feedback from? I know our president went as well. Did you receive any feedback from him about the tournament? Any things that you all discussed? Things that you guys have to help develop the 3x3 league when it continues here in Cayman?
I think a big takeaway from the tournament was, just knowing that we have to get our players ready earlier. So it's not only when it reaches the senior level or the under 23, we have to also put emphasis on our youth, so our under 18 or under 15s. And we want to make leagues, 3-on-3 leagues for those age groups as well. So that's something that, I know the president is also, he has on his agenda to introduce 3x3 at younger age groups as well.
Okay. And both of you, either of you can answer this. What role, I know Greg touched on it just recently, but what role does communication play between referees, players, and coaches in either 5-on-5 or 3x3?
It's huge. It's huge. Because communication is the key. And you don't want the coaches and players to feel isolated. Like officials are over here and players and coaches are over here.
Yeah.
Because it's inclusive, and we want to share whatever information we have with the coaches and with players. Sometimes during games, it may be difficult
To address
because
certain things.
to address a certain situation or a certain call, not that the referees don't want to communicate with
Right.
you, but the timing is also important.
Right.
So we have to look into that as well, because as officials as well, we want to educate the coaches and the players on what we're calling and what we're not calling. And I think one of the things that may help us going forward to our future competition is to have something like a pre-competition clinic
Okay.
where we can discuss these situations in terms of what we're going to be calling in games and what we're going to be allowing. As I said, making the plays starting and develop, is
Right.
something, and finish before we have a whistle is going to be critical coming in the coming seasons, because this is the way we're looking, to be calling games in the near future.
So, the officiating in the last SEBA tournaments, that's going to be totally different from what's to come. Is that what you're saying in terms of officiating and the new rules and how things are going to be done?
Yes, we'll have some adjustments.
Okay.
In terms of how we're going to be calling the games. Yes.
Okay, so for the next women's or men's league, you're thinking maybe a clinic before.
Yes.
Okay, to let them know about what the changes are.
Yes.
Hopefully they come out.
Yes, I think so.
It's usually a struggle.
Yes, because this is for the development of basketball here.
Yeah.
As Kadeen said with the 3-on-3, our issue here is not talent,
Right.
but you have to understand how to play the game at that level and how the game is being called at that level. So if we're prepared from here, it makes an easier transition for us when we go internationally.
Okay.
And that's the idea.
And Mr. Hall, or Kadeen, what are your views and how our athletes performed overall in that setting, that environment, on that stage?
The first game was for the boys. They beat Argentina, and I don't even think people understand how huge that is for Cayman to beat Argentina. That was a big deal.
Right.
But I was very observant, and the following day, I heard the Argentina players calling the Cayman players by their last names. So that meant that they went back, watched the films,
Scout.
and they
Scouted
scout
them.
their opponent.
And there's only 3 to scout, huh?
It was very easy. But that's just
But
the
that
level.
shows you, yeah.
The level that we're playing at in a few hours.
And how much they paid attention to who the
Yes.
dominant players were.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just small stuff like that. Obviously we're not a professional league here, when we play locally, but it's stuff like that we have to do in order to get our basketball to that next level, be able to, do scout report, check out your opponents, just the different things about who you're playing. But I think it was a very eye-opening competition for the girls as well. It was definitely more difficult for them. A lot of them are probably not playing competitive basketball currently, so it was definitely eye-opening for them. But I'm sure they learned a lot.
Yes.
They'll come back stronger. Hopefully they'll put in the work that's needed, and going forward they'll be able to be better.
Awesome. And Greg, based on we have under 15 leagues here. So based on what you saw, we didn't have a team at Central Basket, but do you think our teams would have been able to compete at that level at Central Basket, the girls?
Talent-wise, but adjusting to that level of play, honestly, would have been a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
It's a 40 minutes game. 10 minutes maybe is good, but for the long haul, so it would have been a bit difficult.
Who?
But-
Go ahead, sorry.
But as he alluded to, talent-wise, we can identify players at that level
Yes.
that can compete talent-wise. But obviously, at that level, it's way more than talent. It's you know, you have to be able that fitness level, the physicality has to be there as well. Because obviously, he would have seen it. You know, we watch it on TV as well. We can say, okay, some of our girls can compete at that level.
Yeah.
You know,
Who won the tournament in Panama? Which country?
Mexico.
Mexico won, under 15s.
Yes.
Awesome. The Mexico team in Mexico was amazing, the girls. They were amazing. There was one particular player with some
Jeffers.
serious footwork.
Jeffries.
Jeffries.
Yes.
Yeah. She was amazing.
Yes.
Good footwork, good fundamentals. You can see she's been playing since she was about 11.
Yep.
Maybe about 11, 12. Right? So that's pretty good. So did you get a chance to referee in the final?
No, but
Okay.
I refereed up to the semifinals and the bronze medal game.
Oh, you refereed the bronze medal. What was
Yeah.
that experience like? That's not your first Central basket.
No,
No. Yeah.
I've done quite a few tournaments and did a lot of medal games.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
pretty
quite an
good, though.
experience there.
Yeah.
yes.
You're one of the most experienced officials that we have.
Maybe one of the most experienced in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So what does that mean though when you go and you not compete but officiate at that level? What is there any room for growth and development? What's next?
Yes. So at this competition, I went as a referee, but for the first time as well, I was actually under training as a FIBA instructor.
Nice. What's the difference?
So for this, I'm actually analyzing referees,
Okay.
my peers. I'm analyzing their game.
Okay.
Is that what they're doing good, what they need to add, and as well breaking down film with them to see, hey, how can you improve this and how
Right.
can you improve that?
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a great experience. That was new to me, but I made the necessary adjustments.
Okay.
And because with that, you have to actually be at all the games with your supervisor. just
Okay.
to-
All the games in that particular tournament?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that's the next step for you then? FIBA instructor?
Yes.
Is it just FIBA instructor? FIBA
Yes.
officials?
National instructor,
Okay.
and FIBA level 1 instructor.
All right. What's next for you? Anything coming up? Any international tournament coming up this year?
Not right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not right now. But let's see. We never know. I may get an email tomorrow,
Okay. Yeah,
next
yeah.
week.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great. And Mr. Hall, looking ahead, is there any plans to further yourself like Mr. Greg has done? And
Most definitely.
yeah.
Most definitely. I'm also interested in the technical delegate aspect of stuff.
Okay.
That's something that I'm aspiring to, and we actually have a technical delegate in Cayman, so definitely getting pointers.
That's
from
Mr.
Yearwood.
Ian Yearwood. Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for coming on the show and sharing your thoughts and your experience with us from Mexico and Panama. Appreciate it, and all the best in your journey, both of you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Stay tuned. We're going to hear a word from our sponsor. When we get back, we'll hear from Cayman Powerlifting. Stay tuned.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The 12 p.m. weather report is brought to you by Kirk Home Center. To see what you can save this month on kitchen gadgets, housewares, decor items, patio furniture, tools and hardware, lawn and garden items, and gift ideas, check out www.kirkhomecenter.ky.
The Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office remind all students traveling to and from school overseas to ensure their passports are valid for both travel and entry into their destination country. Passports should be renewed at least 10 weeks before departure, and any necessary student visas must be obtained. For passport services, contact the Passport and Corporate Services Office at 649-7678. For Ministry of Education scholarship inquiries, contact scholarships@gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office.
From business insights and topical issues to inspiring stories of entrepreneurship, tune in to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz each Tuesday and Thursday morning from 7:30 to 9. The Business Buzz is brought to you by Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice with Kirk Market.
Traffic again? What in the world is going on?
Find out by tuning in to Radio Cayman's Traffic Report, brought to you 4 times daily during rush hours following the news at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 12 noon, and 5:15 p.m. And brought to you by Subway. Need a meal on the go? Subway has 7 locations at Anderson Square, West Shore Plaza, and Industrial Park in Georgetown, Centennial Towers, West Bay, Reef Resort, East End, Countryside Shopping Village in Savannah, and in the Owen Roberts Airport Departure Lounge. No matter if you're running late, need to cater an event, or a staff meeting, Subway keeps you fueled with sandwiches, salads, pizza, wraps, and snacks. Subway, eat fresh.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1976.
All right. Welcome to Radio Cayman's Sports Extra. Welcome back, I should say. Are you switching seats on me?
Yeah, no.
Oh, the chair was going down?
No, there's no headphones over there.
Oh, you didn't have to have headphones. That's fine. Yeah. We're on now, though. We're on live. So you hold you're clinging away. If you're hearing all that clinging, it's the medals, okay? He's showing off right now. All his medals are clinging away. So our powerlifters just came from the North America Powerlifting Championships. Where was it held?
Arizona.
In Arizona. Awesome. Tell me all about it. Congratulations. I'm seeing all the success around your necks. So tell us a little bit about about that experience. What was that like for you?
It was pretty similar to last year. You know, it was very competitive because the people I was going against, they were out to get North American records too, and one guy I was competing against broke the bench record and the deadlift record.
Right.
And when I wanted to go there, I wanted to break both those records too, but it didn't work out. So.
Oh, very info.
But it's a good experience.
I don't think I introduced you guys, didn't I? I did it before, but I need to do it now. I'm so sorry. Please excuse me. We're going to start. Let's start with you since you just spoke. Daniel.
Yes.
Go ahead. Tell him who you are.
I'm Daniel Foley.
And tell us a little bit about these medals around your neck.
I came 3rd overall, and I got silver in the deadlifts, and I got bronze in bench.
Okay, awesome. Brandon?
My name's Brendan Foley, and I came 3rd overall in my category of 93 kilos. I came 3rd in the bench as well as the squat.
Tony McInerney. I'm also the president of the Cayman Islands Powerlifting, and I did gold in all the 3 lifts, and I took the North American Masters to a deadlift record.
Awesomeness, huh? What was it like seeing Mr. President out there performing?
Very exciting.
Yeah.
I've been training for a long time to break that record.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations on the medals. Brendan, tell me how you did at the tournament. Tell us, what was that experience like, I should say.
Well, it was really different because we held it last year, and that was...
Yes,
I'd
I
say
remember.
it was a lot easier because, you go home to your own bed.
Yeah.
But when you're there, you're at the competition every day, all day. So I was a lot more nervous this time to compete.
Okay, what was the competition like this time around?
It was pretty hot. I mean, all the divisions were. It was out. I mean,
it was tougher than when we held it here. You think?
It's tough every year.
Yeah.
No matter what division you're in, it's tough. I mean, like Daniel was just saying. I mean, there was 2 other sub juniors there, and they're all. Daniel shows up. It's like they want to know who Daniel Foley is.
Yeah.
Who they're competing against. And likewise, who these guys were competing against. You'll see them on YouTube, but then you're out there on the platform and it's like, okay, they all know their numbers and everybody's trying to push the limit.
Yeah.
And that's, and on the day, sometimes you get the numbers and sometimes you don't.
Yeah. This is as much as you need the physical strength for this, you also need the mental toughness as well, right? So how do you guys prepare mentally for a tournament of this magnitude?
I quite like listening to music in the back, actually.
You do? Yeah. I think the last time I came in the back, that's exactly what you were doing. You were listening to music. And what about you, Daniel?
I don't know. Before I used to listen to music, but now I'm starting to realize that I just focus better when I'm just thinking and like taking in everything instead of listening to music. I don't know.
Okay, awesome. And Mr. Tony, what motivated you to compete personally in this year's challenge?
Last year, because we had it here, the record was on the back burner. I've thought about it, and I knew I was training. Training was going pretty decent. The usual pull muscles. Of course, you get a little older, things start to tear a little quicker.
Yeah.
But the whole idea was to go out and at least shoot for the North American record.
Okay.
I mean, that was kind of the goal we were all setting, to hit over that 600 mark.
Yes.
All of us, Daniel, myself. I mean, Daniel attempted one of 275 kilos, missed it at the top, had it, but it just one of those tweaks. You don't get it right, and the judges see it, and you miss the lift.
And it was not the first event either, right? I'm sure.
No, the deadlift's the last event.
Yeah, so everything is sore.
Oh, I was very sore because I missed 2 of my squat attempts, and that really fatigued me, and deadlifting was a struggle.
Yeah. Do you think, had it been like your first event, how would you what do you think you would have done?
Well, I would have lifted a lot more, but so would everyone else. Like, we'd all be a lot less fatigued. So
great answer. Okay, awesome. Mr. Tony, how did you balance your responsibilities as a leader of the group and as an athlete during the event?
Well, the one thing I love about it is, of course, just one thing I do want to mention. We actually have. It was actually the first championship. We had our first international referee from Cayman.
Oh, nice. Who was that?
That was Shamal Williams.
Okay, cool.
He actually came up with us, so he helped us to coach. He was also refereeing. He did his exam, so he had a lot on his plate as well.
She was here as well. That would have been nice.
He likes football.
Yeah.
So what can I say? But yeah, I mean, it can be a balance because the equipped in what I'm in is usually at the end of the championship. So I kind of, after dealing with Daniel and Brendan, I had a day off. So it kind of gave me a chance to recoup myself, even though it's not easy sometimes because you're as much in the back warming up with the guys, loading, unloading the weights, and you're actually doing it for all day.
Yeah. So you're still working out, basically.
Yeah, you were. But I did have help from one of the guys from Trinidad, an old friend, Marlon.
Okay.
And Belford. We've always helped each other.
Was he here when we had the tournament here?
He was. Cool. He was here. He actually wrapped my knees as well for the tournament here.
Okay.
But, over the years, I've helped Trinidad. Trinidad helped me. The same thing with St. Thomas, the other islands in the Caribbean. It's just, you get a camaraderie.
Yes.
That if you just see a coach, a trainer getting a little tired, a lot of these guys actually step in and they just help you out. Yeah. It's a family.
Yeah.
It's what it is when it comes to the championship.
Awesome. And guys, tell us a little bit about the strategies you used during the competition to achieve your personal bests.
Well, when you go into a competition, first you have to warm up. So you want to warm up enough so that you're prepared to lift your first opener. But you don't want to warm up so much that you get overly fatigued, then you would be weaker. And you do have to think a lot.
It's a delicate balance.
You do, yeah, it is. And like in the days coming up, you do need to think a lot about what your opener is going to be, like a realistic opener that you'll hit, no matter how bad you're doing that day. And then what your other attempts are going to be. So.
When you say an opener, isn't it something that they give you? Is that something you choose?
No. How it works is we'll sit down and we'll have a discussion. We'll see how the gym's been faring out a few weeks out. We'll see where the numbers are looking at. What can you hit for? We'll say triples.
Okay.
That's relatively easy. On a bad day, your worst day of training, you can walk in and do it.
Right.
So your kind of opener sits in around that area. And we'll also know in the warm-up how you're looking. How does it feel? How your body feel?
Okay.
Do we need to drop it? Do we need to increase it? Where do we need to go? So it's a bit of a numbers game as well. So, and then the same thing when you're coming off your lift, how did that feel? 5 kilos, 10 kilos, 20 kilos?
Right. And that's when you know if you can push more or not. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes you'll say, yeah, I feel like 20. And it's like, oh, crap, that was heavy.
Yeah.
Or you go out and you smoke it. And it's just knowing the lifter, knowing yourself as well.
Okay.
So there's a lot of variables in it, and coaching it's not just what the lifter wants. Sometimes you listen. Sometimes you say, okay, let's back it off.
Gotcha.
Let's play it smart. You know, your first lift you always want to get in. The other two after that is kind of gravy.
Yeah.
Because you're always trying to hit a PB,
Yes.
or you're hitting a record, or you're pushing the numbers to try and get closer to the gold medal. So, you know, it is a numbers game, and that's where we had Shamal in the back.
Right.
He's watching the board. He's watching the numbers. Where can we push a lifter? Can we get a little bit more in a squat? His bench is good. Is it as good as the other guys?
Okay.
Is it better? Is his deadlift better? Can we increase it on the deadlift? And the deadlift, usually you'll get a lot of attempt changes. Whereas they come right down, they'll say, okay, that guy missed it just before they load the weight again.
Right.
They'll do an attempt change, and they'll drop the weight.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun that goes on in it. And and again, it's a numbers game. You know.
It is. You want to add to that, anyone? No? That's fine. That's fine. No problem. How many athletes competed? Was it just the three of you? Or
Yes.
yeah?
Yes, for K-Man, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So
We were hoping to have some more, but fortunately, you know, some of them it was budget and it was just personal things. And of course, we had that storm was coming by.
Right.
Things changed for them in those incidents. You know, plywood, you have to spend a little bit more money, and just you know those other aspects that took
goes
a
into
toll.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Gentlemen, were there any unexpected challenges that you faced while there?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So leading up, we went go-karting and bowling a few days before the competition. And it turns out throwing big, heavy balls around really tire out your forearms. And throwing yourself around in a go-kart is actually very tiring on the shoulders. So that was a mistake.
So you're not doing that again?
No.
Never.
That was a huge mistake. But actually, 2 months before this competition, I injured my back. Like I herniated a disc in my lower back. So that really sent my training back. So a lot of that time was just figuring out how I can overcome it. And I didn't do too bad considering like a week or two before the competition, I couldn't even deadlift like 260 kilos. Like I failed it.
Right.
Then I end up getting 265 in the competition. So it involved like I had to be pretty resilient and just not get emotionally involved in my gym, like day-to-day gym progress. Like I just had to keep going.
Awesome. Any unexpected challenges for you, Mr. Tony? Apart from not sleeping in your own bed.
Actually, honestly, it was actually the best meet I ever had.
Oh, nice.
I got 9 for 9.
Yeah.
I've been competing since 2005 up to 2012, and then give it a break for a few years in 2019. I've never had a competition where I've actually hit 9 for 9 lifts, which was pretty...
That's very good.
It was pretty surprising to me.
I don't know how you do it. That was amazing.
Well, actually, honestly, I prayed that morning and that whole weekend, and no word of a lie, I walked my room and I was praying. I just asked for the strength out there and just the courage, and it paid off, you know. And to be honest with you, the lads here were great with me. I mean, as much as you coach them, they're coaching you when you're on the platform. Right. In the warm-up room, we're all watching the boards, we're watching the numbers to see where we are before the last lift. Where's your last warm-up going to be set at? You know, there's a lot of involved, and we all kind of have competed because these guys have competed last year here. Yeah. So they kind of knew the run of it, yet it is in a different country. Different people, some of the same, but it's not home.
Right. Was this their first international tournament?
Outside of Cayman.
Outside of Cayman?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
For these guys, yeah.
What was that like? Like apart from the whole bed thing.
I mean, it wasn't a lot different because we're spending a lot of time watching other people compete and just around the other powerlifters. So it wasn't hugely different. Yeah. It was a lot hotter up there, if you can even believe that.
I know Arizona. Yeah, it's hot. But were there any other competitors there that you looked up to and you said, that you admired?
Oh, we had Ray Williams squatting
Okay.
1,000 pounds again.
Okay, nice.
You know, I mean, and then we have, what was his name in the 105?
Gavin Adair.
Gavin. I mean, guy is just so humble, but just when you watch ridiculous numbers, just
Yeah.
And then he just in the open division. He was a junior last year, and he was squatting over 400 kilos, 900 pounds.
Ooh.
And yeah, I mean, it's just, and he made it look easy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a big guy. He was what was he, 6'4", 6'5", or something? Might even more.
Yeah,
He coming close to the 7 foot for all intents and purposes. But nice young man, but was just like wow.
Wow. Yeah.
You
The wow
see-
factor.
Yeah, I mean it was, and there was a lot of world records broken.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just world, regional. Literally, there wasn't I don't think there was a weight division, age division that somebody wasn't attempting a record,
Awesome.
which was really added a lot of excitement to the whole event.
What about your event, the Masters 2? What was that category like of athletes, your opponents?
We don't get a whole lot.
Yeah, I know.
Because they get over, we won't say Masters what age it is, but it's Masters.
You're the only one that's like, you know what, I'm not giving this thing up.
You know, and it's when you look at the percentages in the world,
Yeah.
we're actually down to less than 1%.
Yeah.
That actually compete and
Compete
lift
in this,
and lift those kind of weight. I mean, it's we had Dave Ricks, and there was a friend of mine. Dave has been at it from US. He was USVI this year. He's 64, I think, and he squats more than what some of the younger guys do in the gyms.
But Mr. Tony, this is an Olympic sport, right?
It's not. We are
It's not?
recognized by
Oh.
we are recognized by the IOC, but they did a FISU, which is university,
Right.
which that's actually recognized by the IOC. So they're in the running to be actually recognized as an Olympic sport. They're in the World Games.
Okay.
Is where they are.
That's
Next-
what we are. We're in World Games.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
'Cause I
next
know
year.
I saw it in an international tournament where different countries, a world tournament.
Correct.
Of some sort. Okay, so it's not Olympics.
It is for Paralympics. But it's a lot
It's different. Yeah, the rules are
Some
different.
of those guys don't have like usable legs, so they just do bench press stuff.
Right.
but
Okay.
It's not in the main Olympics.
Awesome. So what are the qualifications for us to get to the World Championships? With your success, why haven't you been in a World Championships? What are some of the qualifications to get there?
It's numbers. You have to
Yeah.
be picked.
Yeah.
And what they do is they only give so many slots
Yeah.
to the region.
But since you're the only person in the Masters division, not only, but
Well, no,
there's
there's
quite few of you.
There's the Masters World,
Yeah.
which this year is in Sun City, Africa.
Okay.
But that's a little far to be traveling. And
No, it's
funds.
not, Mr. Tony. Go get your medal.
Maybe next year when it's I think it's in the US or
Okay.
Costa Rica. It's actually coming back, so I'll
Okay.
probably go to the World Masters there.
Okay.
But hopefully next year I'll be shooting for the Masters world record. That's the goal now, is to be set. That's the kind of and that's a little bit more weight.
I interrupted you when you spoke of the World Championships, like the qualifications for that.
It is. There's only so many slots.
Okay.
Each region gets so many slots open. So this now, there was one or two off at the North American, but a lot of them had already got their slots picked from the Worlds, Open Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So North American is kind of okay, if I didn't make the Worlds, I can get in through the North American.
Okay.
So there was a couple of slots that were on it, which get put forward from the North American powerlifting, but it doesn't mean the IPF will recognize it and take it.
Right.
So it's going to depend where they're from. Have we got a combination of other countries involved? So, it's there is a lot of logistics involved in it to make sure that's not just from one country, that it's evenly out there. Plus, they're also getting good competition.
Yeah.
I'm
sure.
Yeah. So, there is different rules to it in actually getting your slot. But of course, if you're in the top few in the world, your slot's already, you're not going to the North American, you're already going to the World Open Worlds, which that gives you win an Open Worlds or the top three, automatic get a slot to go into the World Games.
Right.
So it does vary out, and I think it's like 16 only open for the whole thing. So the numbers are tight. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, powerlifting, it's personal best. It's like these guys, I mean, they're always shooting for a personal best.
So what's your personal best now in the categories that you've medaled?
Well, they actually haven't improved since our nationals. But in our nationals, I squatted 235 kilos and I benched 155 kilos and deadlifted 275 kilos.
She's looking. She doesn't know.
Yeah.
No,
I'm thinking.
I could convert them.
Yeah, please convert.
So the squat's about like 520 pounds, and the bench is around 340 pounds, and the deadlift's like 605 pounds.
Strong lad.
Not strong enough.
Very strong. I saw him at the tournament here, and I was impressed. I was like, no. How old are you, Daniel?
I'm 18 now.
18 years old. Is that the age you were when you were competing?
No, I was.
You were way older?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't
So
start.
this is quite impressive, having them at this age.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Honestly, having younger guys, the sub-juniors and the juniors in, that's where the fun is. Because it's like, okay, I wish I was a little young again, but it's good to see him out there and just give it their all and train hard.
And Brandon, how old are you?
16.
Are you even younger?
Yeah.
This is amazing. I think this is fantastic. When we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're going to hear a word from our sponsor, Savannah Pharmacy.
Hey, Mom and Dad. School is nearly back in session. Is your child ready for the school year? Stop by Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village and pick up all your child's stationery supplies. You won't need to break the bank to get your little one prepared for the school year. You have enough to worry about. Make back to school a breeze with Savannah Pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, or call 946-3336. Savannah Pharmacy supports your education in our small community. That's why the first 20 customers will receive a free fully stocked school bag. Savannah Pharmacy. We love our community.
This is Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes, and as the representative for West Bay Central and the Ministry for Sustainability and Climate Resiliency, I am concerned that our islands are at a high risk of loss and damage to seagrass beds. Stronger storms, warmer sea temperatures, and sea level rise can destroy seagrass beds. Culturally and economically important animals like green sea turtles and conch need seagrass to survive. To learn more about the climate risk to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
We're going to dance and have some fun.
Get in the groove with RC Fusion, brought to you weekdays, 10 a.m. to 12 noon by the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, Transportation and Sports and Development. Stay in the know on the latest projects and developments by the Ministry of PAHI. Visit www.gov.ky/PAHI. That's gov.ky/PAHI. Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, no Cayman, and right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
All right, welcome back to Radio Cayman Sports Xtra. Off the mic, we are talking a little bit about the judge and jury of the tournament itself, right? So you were saying that it's difficult competing in front of all those people, and the fact that they're so young and doing it at this age, it's a lot of pressure, right? So could you help us understand the difference between the judge and the jury?
Okay, and when you're lifting, you got a head judge and you got two side judges.
Mm-hmm.
The head judge is the one that gives the commands. Like for squat, he'll tell you squat.
Right.
They'll tell you rack.
Right.
Same bench, they have to tell you start, press, which is, they'll tell you start to bring it onto your chest. They're waiting for it to be motionless. Your feet have to be flat, your bum on the bench, and your shoulder and your head down.
Right.
Then he'll tell you press. And then when he hits the top, he's going to tell you rack. You miss any of them, and it's either red light, blue, yellow.
That's where the jury comes in.
No.
No?
If it's I'll just give you over to how they judge on the
All right.
3 events. On the deadlift, he just tells you put it down.
Okay.
So now, if you're squatting and you get 2 white lights and 1 red light, one of the judges sees something. The jury will look and say, okay, is that judge correct in giving the red? Or is it, no, they didn't see enough of a discrepancy to overturn it.
Right.
Juries have done it. They've walked away and 1 red light, they go and they say, no, that lift wasn't any good, and they overturn it. That means it's a no lift.
You're right.
And it can go
It's a tough
with
one.
you.
Yeah.
It is, but it's happened where you get 2 red and 1 white.
Okay.
That means now the coach, which I have done in the past, I go to the jury table and say that's an unfair. There shouldn't be
Judgment,
2
yeah.
red. And sometimes they'll overturn it. Sometimes they won't.
Right.
If you can go and say, hey, look, the squat was deep enough. What did they call on? It wasn't depth. It was deep enough.
Mhm.
Jury table then will look back at the video and they'll say, yeah, it was deep enough. We're giving you the lift.
Okay.
So it can be really nerve-wracking sometimes, but the jury is fair. And they're usually, this championship, there are 28 referees
Oh.
throughout
Right.
the...
Including a Caymanian one. Yeah.
Correct,
Cool.
correct, which
Yeah.
was huge for us.
Yeah, of course.
Because they actually had flown in here for our nationals.
Yes.
To train
him.
Well, there was others too.
Okay.
But there was Shamal. At that time, he felt he was ready to come with us, and I kept encouraging him to come along. And I knew he was ready because he was in the gym watching us. Like we call him now, Red Light Shamal. He just not deep enough. Get lower, get lower. So it's great for us, which is actually fantastic for us here in the island that we actually have somebody internationally.
Yes.
He knows what the rules are. He's sat there. He's listened to them. He's been taught by them to tell us, okay, so we don't go out and get red lights.
Okay.
So that's, but yeah, the judge and jury, it's a tough one.
Awesome.
But the judges are told to give towards the lift than take it away.
Okay.
That's kind of if it's a mile high, it's just going to red light you. You know it yourself as a lifter.
Right.
And if you get it, you run
Right,
with it.
yeah.
It's like anything.
Okay. Sounds good. And Brandon, tell us, were there any specific moments in that tournament that stood out to you?
I wasn't expecting to get any medals going there. I was just going to go to compete, but I was really shocked to hear that I was coming 3rd overall.
Yeah.
And then I went over and hugged Coach Tony because I was overjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
It's a nice feeling to know you didn't go there you didn't expect any, that kind of outcome, and then eventually you got medals, to walk away with medals, actually. So I think that's a very good feeling. And what about you, Daniel? Anything stood out to you? What's it like? Let me cut you off. Before we go, what's it like competing with each other?
Oh, we're all competing on different days. So Brendan was first, and that was the day after. And Tony was the day after.
And what about at home? Are you guys competitive towards each other at all?
Oh, really?
It's just more like on that supportive
he's
level?
a lot younger than me, so.
Yeah. Oh, you hear that? Oh, talk to you like that.
No, it's just not fair you can't really make a comparison. 'Cause
Just
he has
2 years.
More years, so.
Yeah, it's just 2 years.
Yeah,
I
but
can talk
to
to you like that.
to compare himself to like my strength and
Yeah. Okay.
And they're different weight divisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's not a fair comparison.
Oh, okay, it's not fair. All right. I'll leave that alone then. I'm trying to stir up trouble. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Any last words before you head out? Anyone? When is the next tournament? What's next?
Well, it's next year.
Okay.
They have been bugging me to bring it back to Cayman.
Okay. That's a good thing.
It is, because they actually all enjoyed it here.
It was stressful for you, but it's a good thing.
Not just me.
Yeah.
My beautiful wife as well.
Yeah, she worked hard too. Yes.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Yes, she did. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even be competing if it wasn't for her behind me, pushing and encouraging.
Yeah.
Most of us, we have family behind us that help us along. But they have asked if they can bring it back to Cayman, and that's probably over 400 plus athletes, because they're looking at the North American and the Pan American powerlifting.
Okay.
So that's usually
huge.
that's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at probably, this year was 362. There was another 100. It increased over 13% of lifters.
Yeah.
It was 262 we had, and this would hit over 362. So you imagine what next year's going to turn out.
You
400 plus.
You better get ready.
Oh, yeah, of course. We'll be ready.
You and your lovely wife, get ready. It's going to be good. And I'm looking forward to more medals and having you all on the show talking about it. Thank you so much for stopping by. That's it for tonight's edition of Sports Extra. A special thank you to the basketball officials that were here previously as well. If you would like the opportunity to be featured on our show, please feel free to email me at sportsextrakman@gmail.com. I'm your host, Dionne Anglin. Thank you all so much for tuning in and stopping by. Good night and God bless.
Sports Extra, brought to you by Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
Sports Extra. From 7 to 8 p.m., highlights of local sports around the Cayman Islands. Sports Extra.
It's amazing to see the improvement of the team.
Sports Extra, keeping you informed.